God questions. Honest answers.
Hey, welcome to God Questions.
Honest answers.
My name's Ross.
And I'm Mark.
And this is a podcast where we can honestly answer
God questions.
Hey, and this is our first episode, Mark. Cue the confetti.
Yay!
I'm so excited. And just to let you know what our aim is in this podcast, whether you're watching in a video form or just in audio.
Listen to our
There's
voices.
multiple ways you can listen.
Yes.
But our aim is to make these helpful, short, but something you can easily consume on a drive, on a plane, while you're just doing what you're doing.
Go for a walk.
Yeah.
Listen to us.
Yeah. Anywhere you're at. We're at the grocery store. We want this to be easily consumable for you to help you answer some maybe God questions in your life, big or small, whatever you may think.
Right.
But any God question you might have. So we have some questions we're going to talk through throughout the episodes. But I mean, like, you could also submit some questions, and we'll get to that at the end of this episode. But first, Mark.
Yes.
We have our first question for this episode specifically.
Which is not a God question.
No, but I think it's a good one that they really...
Good question. Extra O.
An extra... Good question.
Yes.
But it is, who are we? So Mark,
we?
maybe you start and just share a bit about who you are, and then I'll go.
Awesome. Yeah. So my name's Mark. I'm married to my wife, Emily, and we've got 4 kids and 4 awesome kids, daughter, 3 boys. And we love, man, being a parent's fun. It's hard. It's good. I love it. We call ourselves Team Smith. And we love doing stuff together. I've been in ministry for 10 years, full-time ministry. This is not what I plan to do. But I get to work at a church, Hope Church. We get to work together. Yes. We love doing that. But I get to help adults figure out, man, what's my next step as I grow my relationship with Jesus? And it is such a fun thing. Not what I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to be working, doing science-y stuff in the woods, being a park ranger. But this is what God's got me doing. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of do that here in our area. I mean,
that's true.
We kind of live in cornfields of Iowa.
Yes. The corn.
There's science there.
There is lots of science. But
so if you didn't know, we're from Iowa, and now you know. But my name's Ross. I also have a family, my wife, Noelle, and we have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. The girl's oldest. She's 2.5. And then our baby boy was just born in this January. So he's like... however many months that's been, it's hard to count these days. I mean, seriously, the time goes so fast. But
single digits,
right? Yeah, single digits still. Yeah. Not a year yet. But I've been in ministry. I've been in ministry for 7 years now, and specifically in full-time ministry for the last 5. And I specifically serve as a student pastor at the church that Mark and I work at. And I love that. And I similarly help students take their next steps in their pursuit of Jesus. And that can look like many different things, of maybe accepting Jesus or even just making a decision to read God's word throughout the week. Whatever it may look like, we try in our student ministry, and I lead that student ministry and helping them take next steps. So I enjoy it. It is something that I always dreamed to do. So this is technically my dream job. I felt called as a high schooler to jump into student ministry. And ever since, I've been serving in some capacity, and thankfully in a full-time capacity, which I really love.
To be fair, I now think this is my dream job.
Okay,
and I couldn't imagine being in the woods.
Right. But you just didn't think it from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It is great. It is good.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So maybe to get to know us a little bit more, we wanted to play a quick game with you. You may know it. It's called 2 Truths and a Lie. And so, Mark, how this works is we're going to share 3 things total.
3 things.
Okay. 2 of them have to be truths, but 1 of them needs to be a lie. But yet we don't know each other's. And so we're going to then try to guess which one's the lie between us.
All right.
If you're listening in the car, if you're watching, wherever you're watching, you can maybe guess along with us and try to guess our lie. But either way,
that's right.
Mark, maybe you go or I'll go first.
You go first.
I'll go first.
You go first.
I'll give the example here.
All right.
So let me think. My 2 truths and a lie. I thought about this a little bit recently. Okay. So Kevin Bacon once approached me to introduce himself to me when I was eating bacon.
Okay. So Kevin Bacon while eating bacon.
Yeah.
Why did he just approached you?
You'll have to guess at the end, and then we can tell. Fair. Okay. The second is I hate coffee. I hate coffee. Okay.
It's coffee.
Okay. And the third one is my favorite sport is football of the American kind. Like the National Football League. So with the pigskin football, not the football of the European kind.
Okay, so met Kevin Bacon while eating bacon.
Yep.
And you love football and you hate coffee.
Mm.
All right. Well, okay. I know you like the Colts, which is football.
But do I love
But is it you love? Is that your favorite? I know you don't always drink coffee at staff meetings. I'm going to go, as weird as it is with the bacon, I'm going to say coffee.
Okay.
Wait, no, you say you hate coffee, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm going to say that that's true. I'm going to say that football is not your favorite. I know you love it, but it's not your favorite. Final answer.
Yes. That was my truth.
Ah!
So you're incorrect.
Okay.
I duped you. The absolute lie was coffee. I don't hate coffee. I just don't drink it very much. I love Mountain Dew, but I can't say I hate coffee. I've drank it before, and I have met Kevin Bacon. So
you have met, and you were eating bacon.
He introduced himself to me while I was eating bacon.
Was it because you were eating bacon?
It was at one of those restaurants. It was like the Hollywood restaurants, Planet Hollywood. It's like a restaurant in Florida when we were visiting there. Like we went on vacation. I was a kid, and I met him there, and it was super cool. He signed my hand. I didn't wash my hand. I haven't washed it ever since. Just kidding. I have washed it, but I didn't wash it for a while. So yeah, I don't hate coffee. All right. I wish I could say that as a truth because I don't.
That is much, okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to take some cues from you. All right. So here we go. 2 truths and a lie. Not necessarily in that order. Maybe it's 1 truth and a lie.
Yeah, it could be any order you want.
All right. So here we go. Number 1. We'll stick with the famous person thing. I met President George W. Bush. I met George W. Bush, and he looked at me and said, "Well, you're a big feller."
That's a very specific
in 3-month time span, I lost my tooth, tore my ACL, and broke a collarbone.
Okay, in 3 months.
And I once drove my car for 24 hours straight. On I-80 across the country. There you go.
Oh, gosh. That is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know that you grew up in Washington.
Yes.
And we live in Iowa, like
that is true.
And that's probably a 24-hour drive. Ish. But maybe.
Time zones. You never know.
Yeah.
It's got factors.
True.
All right.
George W., is he the old one?
George W. is the younger one.
The younger one.
Yes.
Okay. He said, "You're a big feller."
Yeah.
It does sound like something you would say, oddly enough. I don't know him too well or personally, but I do. Like, couldn't you imagine George Bush saying that? I could. Okay. And then, wait, what was the third one? So I'm stuck on the car, and then the George W.
And then the injuries.
The injuries. The tooth in 3 months. In 3 months.
In 3 months.
Collarbone and what else?
Tore my ACL.
In one event, or you just said
within a 3-month time span?
I'm gonna guess the lie. Because I do believe that about you, that you'd hurt yourself like that on accident. I think the lie has to be the George Bush, because I guess you were living in. I don't know. I think the lie is George Bush.
George Bush is not the lie.
What?
Yeah, my freshman year, which is when I got injured a whole bunch. Was the year he was running for president, and he did it. We're in Iowa, so we get lots of presidential hopefuls come, and he did an event, and we were there with another guy from my floor, and the guy I was with was really short.
Yeah.
And he shook my hand and said, "Wow, you're a big fella."
In comparison,
I looked really big.
Wow.
Yeah. No, so the lie is the 24 hours straight on I-80 because when I go to visit my parents and when I drive here, it's I-90.
Did you do 24 hours straight before?
Never did 24 hours straight. I drove through it. But I stopped and took a couple hour nap in Wyoming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
There we go.
A little bit more about you, Mark.
Yeah.
But hey, to answer one other question
Yes.
before we sign off for today, it's just kind of what our goal is for this podcast. And so first and foremost, we believe that wherever you're at in your spiritual journey, we believe every person can take a next step to know and follow Jesus better. And so whether you know Jesus and you're actively following him and you're plugged into a local church and serving and committing time, wherever you're at, you can take a next step somewhere in your life to follow him better. Or if you're denying, there is no God. You're wherever you're at, you're saying there's nothing out there to be God, and you do not believe, you can also take a next step to grow to know more and grow to know him better.
Exactly.
And that's one piece.
Yeah. And that's what this podcast is all about is wherever you're at, something we believe about God is we believe the Bible's true. And we want, both of us, that's where we're coming from, just so you know, as you're watching or listening to us, we believe it's true. And so as we wrestle with all these questions, we're looking to the Bible and say, what does the Bible tell us about this? We also really believe that God is big enough that he can handle any question we throw at him. And I think too often we get questions and we're just like, we're not supposed to ask that question, or this question's off limits, or there's no question that's there. We're not, it's okay to ask questions. So we want to ask questions. That's what this is all about. We want to ask those questions, big questions, ones that we wrestle with. We don't want to just accept everything because we're supposed to. Like, it's okay to wrestle with those things. And that's what we want to do, so that whether you're like, I believe the Bible is true, so let's have it, or you're like, I don't even know if this is real. We're gonna try to tackle all those questions and give an honest attempt at answering them. Yeah,
because the reality is you're actually listening to two guys who are actively, just like you in that, we actively take steps to grow in our faith, take steps to grow closer to Jesus, personally, professionally, wherever, and every aspect of our life, both in our families too, to where we're just on this journey with you. And we've kind of just been brainstorming and dreaming together of what those steps look like. And these aren't steps to get you to an endpoint that you check the box and say, we're done, we're arrived in this life. We believe that it's a continual step and process until we meet Jesus once again in the flesh, like until we see him in heaven, that we're continually on this process of taking next steps. And so we kind of break it up into 3 different categories. You might hear as we go throughout this podcast that we just want to introduce to you now, that you can grow to know God through connecting, growing, and serving. And the first one is kind of quick. It's just connecting with God by actually joining a local faith community wherever you're at and spending time in God's word wherever you're at. And that's a point where you can actually take a step to connect with God. But with Grow, Mark, maybe share a little bit about Grow.
I think growing is just, it's part of this. It's as we understand what is it we don't know, and as we learn more about who God is and what it means, that all the questions that are asked, as we understand those things, that we grow in our understanding, and it's a continual process that we're continuing to grow. And we believe that you grow in relationship whether it's friends, whether it's listening to podcasts like this, reading God's word, that we grow in that way.
Yeah. And then finally it's serving, and you'll be really quick to notice if you've never picked up a Bible before, or if you've read God's word before, that the Lord calls us to serve one another, but also serve him, not only in his local church, but in the community, and serve the best we can to honor and bring glory to the Lord. And so the last one, serve. We want to help you take steps in maybe places you could serve. And maybe that means you dream up of places where there's not much serving happening. There's people that aren't being served with the love and affection of Jesus, and you want to step in and serve them that way by taking a meal, or being a listening ear, or just being available, or just even showing up to places that are already killing it and serving people well. Whatever it may look like for you, want to help you take steps in those areas. So I'm super excited, Mark. I know that we want this to be an amazing tool for anyone listening, wherever you're at, for you to help you learn and grow closer to Christ, and really learn and grow how to be a part of a Christ-centered community wherever you're at.
Right.
And let me encourage you quickly, if you're driving, don't do this. If you're listening wherever else, though, maybe just put a pause button and begin to search for that faith community you can be a part of wherever you're at. You can just do a quick Google search, churches near me, and probably find one that's pretty awesome near you. And if you ever have questions about that, you can always email us, and we'll get to that in a second, how you can reach us. Yeah.
And so again, with this podcast, our goal is to answer questions. And so as we start off here, this first one, we've kind of got some ideas of some questions that we want to answer, and kind of some big ones that we think are kind of common to a lot of people. Some questions that that both of us have asked in the past, and maybe you're still asking and wrestling with. Yeah. And so we're going to start off with those, but we don't want this to be our questions. We want it to be helpful to you. And so what are questions you have? And so you can email questions to us. And it's really simple. You can just send them to me, not Ross. Yeah. So just email them to mark@ehope.org. Yeah. Really easy. Mark with a K, M-A-R-K @ehope.org. Send them my way, and we'll look at those and we'll start to tackle some of those questions in upcoming podcasts, because we really want this to be, hey, as we get these questions that maybe you feel it's just you, and you can send it anonymously.
That's a hard word.
That is a hard word, and don't ask me to spell it. It starts with an A. But you can send them. We'll answer those anonymously, or if you don't mind, we'll say, hey, here's a question from Joey, or somebody else,
or whatever your name.
But we want to answer those questions. What questions you have? How can we give an honest attempt to answer those questions?
Yeah. I know we're going to love this journey. It's
going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. But hey, I think that's all we got for now. And let me leave you with just one quick promise that we do every episode want to do our very best to honestly answer questions you might have. Honestly answer questions about our faith and about who God is and how we can better know him. So we'll leave you with that promise for today. But until next time, we're signing off for now. My name's Ross.
I'm Mark.
Talk to you in the next one. Peace.